Mr. Don Swenson.
Oh, Sam, what a great time with the amazing Ty Wilson.
He did not let us down. We knew it. We knew he was going to be awesome.
We knew he was going to be good. Yeah, we just had a chance to talk about all of his woodworking, his extensive use of diorama in his childhood, board games, video games, and we did touch on his job as Main Street director for Hammonton. We came full circle.
Yeah, and we went pretty deep.
Yeah,
some real philosophical things were said in this podcast. Am I right?
For sure. And I can't wait for everybody to hear what we had to say. So,
without further ado, will you please introduce our guest?
Hey, Ty Wilson.
Mr. Don Swenson.
Mr. Sam.
So, as we were saying earlier, good things in life nowadays. Am I right?
So many good things.
Yeah, you were telling me you have a new job. I have a new job.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that, man.
Yeah, I love teaching all things, but I'm teaching science.
Nice.
To sixth grade. I'm back
awesome.
in the grades, and I am so stoked.
I also heard you have a furry little new friend.
Oh, you talking about Tuska? We named it
Tuska?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, my daughter named it. It was meowing, only 6 weeks old. I don't know what it was doing under there, but it was under my shed and just cute as can be, and it's going to be my first cat.
Yeah, if you need any cat whisperer ideas, talk to my wife.
Okay, I will, because I'm new to all this.
Yeah.
But the cherry on top, we have Ty in the building.
Whoa, Ty!
Ladies and gentlemen. Hello.
What's up, brother?
Hi, Ty.
Hello, Don.
So I got to know Ty just a little bit because he runs Main Street, but that is not what this episode is about. No, sir. You explained to me that he is an artiste, and you sent me some of his work.
Yeah. He's so I also got to know Ty mostly through Main Street, even though we've passed each other in halls before, and. Through talking, I found out how much he was into woodworking and graphic design, and we've been talking mostly about board games and video games for the last, especially the last 2 to 3 weeks. It's
There's
just
so many meetings,
unbelievable. But it's been a real treat getting to know him, and I thought this would be a great format to kind of dig a little deeper.
Well, Ty, the one thing I noticed, because I only got a few photos, but I saw out of wood you created a Game Boy. Sir, I mean, if I had your skill set, that's exactly what I would be doing.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's fun.
So before we get to the modern stuff, let's take it way back. I want to know about your creativity as a young Ty, as a little Ty running around. Where did it all start?
Yeah, he beat me to it.
Aha! Don doesn't always get it. I was always into doing everything, all of the things. I wanted all of the things. I wanted to touch all the things and do all the things and have all the things. And creativity was a way, I guess, to get all of that out. So I would always do anything I could to, I don't know, just, I guess, express, as cliche as that sounds. But I would always just have, I guess, a necessity to try something out, like just starting new projects. That just feeling of needing to, I got to try that. I want to give that a shot. I could do that. Pottery wheel, yeah, go for it. Let's do it. That's embroidering, sure, I'm going to do it. Buy all the things from Amazon and return it immediately because I realize I'm not at all remotely good at it. But I just so badly want to try all these different things. I don't know that I would call myself any form of an artist or a creator, only because I think everything I do is, I don't know, it's more me trying things out. The one thing I've stuck with, or rather the two things I've stuck with, is graphic design and woodworking. Those are the two things that I've always kind of gone back to. Everything else I've dabbled in, touched in, I've revisited, but from a young age I've always been into art in some fashion, and then as I got older and technology advanced, doing graphic design became really exciting, and so I've just always kind of stuck with that growing up and found different ways to explore that. I think I was probably in like 6th grade when I asked for an electronic drawing tablet because I think it was a Wacom, and my brothers were getting like games and Pokemon and stuff like that, which I also wanted. But I also I just wanted other ways to create and do more things, and kind of just, I don't know, I just wanted to have more, and I realized I could do that by creating that, if that makes any kind of sense.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I've just always stuck with it. The woodworking was a more recent development because I was terrified of anything related to power tools or sharp objects as a kid. So I didn't want to go anywhere near it. So that was a more newer, probably past 10-year development. So
I want to talk about the school stuff, but Don, you know what's so freaking cool, man? I don't think I've ever been in a room with 2 other gentlemen who have the same thing as me, in which there's just so much in the world that's exciting. You just want to do it all. There's not enough hours in the day. I mean, I don't feel like there's a ton of people like that, but you guys, I'm the exact same way. Wrestling podcast, teaching.
Sure.
Don, you're always thinking of a new project.
Sure. Yeah.
It's awesome. So you were talking about it earlier. I'd love to hear, in school, how did that present itself? You were talking about a project you did where you kind of go above and beyond.
Sure. Yeah. I always, I really exhausted my parents' credit cards. I had to, because every time a project was presented to me, or to the class rather, I would always go about 57 steps above and beyond, only because I felt I had an idea. It had nothing to do with proving anybody wrong or being the best or anything like that. I didn't want to try to be better. I said, oh, I got this really good idea. And it would physically pain me if I didn't get to explore it. It didn't always pan out, but I always wanted to at least give it that shot.
You would obsess, huh?
Oh, I needed to, because I had this idea. I had to. So I remember I think it was like 5th grade, we had this project that we were presented as build a utopia, like the ideal place to live, right? Whether it was a farmland, a city, whatever it was. It could be futuristic, it could be old-timey, it could be whatever you wanted it to be. And I forget how it fit into the subject we were learning at the time, but I just remember taking that idea, and mind you, this was meant to be done via crayons and color. Just simple, like an artistic drawing, if you will. I instead went with the 3D diorama route and made a massive, I got 2 clear plastic bowls, large, I don't know, probably like 18-inch plastic bowls, glued them together, cut some holes, filled it with some things, and made this what I would imagine to be an underwater utopia, because that's where things would live. I want to say, and on the record, I came up with BioShock first. I know it was based on a book, but still.
The game?
For sure, yeah. That idea was right there.
You thought of that before it came out, huh?
I had to have. The idea was there. It was just, rapture was in my mind. But that was the concept, and it was this massive overcompensation. I don't know what you would call it. Just this big, more than life. Like, it just didn't need to be that. But I the idea was there, and paper and crayons, and none of that would have done it justice. I had to go with the big, physical, giant, obtrusive, unnecessary project. And that's time and time again. It's happened with everything, every single project. And I remember being told, like, you don't have to do all that. You can just do this. I go, no, I can, because you have to understand, I had the idea of this electric motor I wanted to build. So the guy on YouTube did it. There's no way I'm not going to be able to, because that's the downfall of any creator, is thinking, I could do that. I've seen it. I can do it. Yeah. And realizing you have no business being in that realm.
Were you like that with all subjects? Like, you were really, you did really well in school, or is it just these projects where you could use your creativity?
No, I feel like, and this is, it's going to sound almost cocky to say, and I truly don't mean it that way, but I was always very good in school, and things came very easy to me. But I don't think it's because I was intelligent. I think it's because I had street smarts, and I think I knew how to get away with, and like, I was teacher's pet all the time. Like, and I still talk to some of the teachers I had, and it was good relationship. I didn't manipulate it, although I did take for granted the fact that, okay, I have a good connection. We go out for drinks and everything. Me, while I'm in 5th grade, it's a whole thing. So I feel like I can.
That's another podcast.
That's a different podcast. Yeah. I feel like I can figure it out. So I was always good at, I don't know, figuring out what was necessary. I could take a test without studying, and I would get like a B, which is good. It's passing. but I just kind of figured things out. I had like, again, not intelligence. It's not because I'm smart.
He's not smart. He's not an artist. I'm starting to disagree, Don.
Yeah, I think you're selling yourself short. I mean, it seems like you're historically the facts are stacking up against you.
Yes,
from
evidence.
I have to be honest, the whole ploy of me being here is just to sound as humble as possible. I think at some point it'll benefit me. No, I went through life. I remember my mom would tell me growing up, like, you're a perfectionist. Everything has to be perfect. I vivid memory, I don't know why, but a vivid memory of me making, at the time, again, young child, the most beautiful taco a young boy could make. All the meat falling out the back. And bawling my eyes out because it was just crumbled. It's a metaphor for life if you think about it.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And but perfectionist, like everything had to be exactly as is, and I think that got me into a lot of trouble in that way because I felt like I can tackle and handle all these different things because I'm going to make sure it's absolutely perfect. But then I would spend.
I was going to ask that.
Oh my god, dude, so much time, like and all the effort and everything to get it to that point when and then surpass it. To the point where it's like, well, now I've ruined it. Whatever it is, it's with so many different things.
Wow.
So, yeah, it became anything I did become, and even now I obsess over things. So,
as you're getting older, are you able to let go a little bit more, or is it still like you have got to perfect something before you let it go?
No, yeah, I definitely have let go a lot.
Okay.
Only because I mean, we're adults here. Therapy, we've been there, we've done that. I've been talked to by other adults about like, all right, here's like, this is why you have these tendencies and this is what you should do and blah, blah, blah. So I've worked on myself and tried to figure some of that out because I realized I was getting into like issues where I would obsess over whatever I was working on. This was in a creative way, in a professional way, in school, at a job, whatever it was. I would just lock into one thing and then I always thought it was procrastinating. And it wasn't procrastinating. I was just
that's something else.
Focusing on one thing and ignoring every other task because I would put all my effort into the thing that I either found the most interesting or that I found the most intriguing. Like, just I want to be able to figure it out and work it out, and it's going to bother me if I don't finish this one. Like, I'll get to the rest of this stuff, but this is that one task I need to finish. So creativity was the same exact way. It was just all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So, but I think I've resolved it, or at least have channeled it.
Yeah.
Empowered it.
Made some steps. You know who has not made those steps? My brother-in-law. We interviewed my brother-in-law, David. He is just like Ty. Man, if we want to see a movie, I will tell him we're seeing the 4:00 movie if we're watching the 6:00 movie. And then he'll probably end up seeing the 8:00 movie. Like, just to make sure. I mean, but yeah, he can't let go. He's got to perfect everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be frustrating sometimes, you know, like, because you can see it. You know what the end should look like, and when you're when you're finding out that you're like, it's so close, but it's not there. And then trying to refine it and finding sometimes that you're getting further away from where you want to be.
100%. No, that's I mean. Yeah, you put it perfectly. It's I have the vision, I have the concept, I have the idea. Again, whether it's creative or professionally, I know that this is what I want it to be, whatever it is. If it's an event I'm running for Mainstreet, if it's a project I'm working on creatively, I have it in my mind. I know what I want to do. It's just the execution to get there.
Yeah.
The hand's not doing what it's supposed to be doing to get it to that point, and the brush strokes and whatever it is. And so I always struggle with that. So I've realized. In my head is always trust the process, because you're going to get to a point. It might not be the point. It might not be where you envisioned it, but it might. There's always, it's like, oh, okay, I didn't think it was going to be like that, but I kind of like it. Or other people. I've learned, show people everything. Like, and I mean, like, we're gonna get a little touchy feely.
All right, let's get deep.
Yeah, from a personal point of view, like, show them yourself, but also artistically, creatively. Because I was always like, I don't want to show anybody stuff because I don't want criticism. I don't want anybody to tell me I'm doing anything wrong. But I realized one of two things can come from it, and you could look at both as positive. Either somebody is going to criticize you, but they're going to hopefully give you constructive criticism and let you know, hey, you could do it this way. And what have you ever thought of that? Oh, no, I haven't. Or all that time stressing and bothering and worrying about it's not going to look as good as I want it to, and then seeing somebody else look at it and go, oh my God, that's incredible. And not I created something for Don for Halloween, October 4th.
Oh, did you?
Be there.
Yeah, I will.
And I created it, and I showed my wife. It was this woodwork. It was I used a laser cutter to make. I like to combine the graphic design with the woodworking. So I made a wooden tarot card for their event, and I showed my wife, like, I don't like, I'm not even going to show Don. This is, I just feel it's not as good as I wanted it to be. And then Don, blown away by it. I mean, and gave me accolades that I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting him to go, that shit. I was just expecting, like, oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. And not anything for it. So that's helped with my perfectionist habits, because I feel like if I can just give a little, or open up a little bit and say, like, hey, what do you think of this? Or just reveal it.
Okay, here we go.
Better.
Let me take a look. Whoa, how big is this?
That too big. It was, I don't know, what do you say, like 6 inches or so?
Yeah, it's like 2.5 by 4.5 or something.
We're looking at a picture of a tarot card.
We are with a
Mine's out of gutters.
We got a head of a bird on a skeleton wearing a red robe. Spiders hanging out. This is too cool, man. 10-4-2025. Be there, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be awesome. Wow. How long did it take?
The actual wood cutting portion of it, seconds. I mean, I have a strong enough machine that it'll blow through that. But actually, so Don would have the answer for the designers who actually came up with the art. I have nothing to do with that. But to then create that into a vector file, so that way I can put it onto the laser engraver, and the woodcutter is a different story.
Woodwork is like your jam. That's like
yeah.
When did that start?
That started. So my dad was and still like he owned his own company building houses for a living, and he started at a young age building frames. That was his first job, building frames, and then went on to building homes, and then started his own company building homes, and throughout that has had kind of different jobs, but that's always kind of been his thing. He was always construction guy. Like, he was always building, and we always had power tools that I was terrified of. Wanted to go nowhere near anything that was loud, and I just always, it was there, but it wasn't in me. Like, I was like, oh, well, that's something I guess I'll call my dad if he ever needs to fix something, and that still does ring true today. But it kind of came to fruition when when I was dating my now wife at the time. I just wanted to make her something, and I was like, well, I got to think of something cool to make. So I had just, again, recently saw on YouTube, I was like, I could do that. It was someone taking Mod Podge and a photo they printed off of an inkjet printer. Excuse me. And they printed off of an inkjet printer and just Mod Podge it to a piece of wood, let it sit, dry, cure, and then hit it with a little bit of water and like a paper towel, and the ink would absorb into the wood. I was like, oh, that'd be cool. And we had just got done going to a sunflower field, took a lot of pictures. So I ended up making these coasters that are just some pallet wood. And this is sincere. I think I was 20 at the time. And I asked my dad if he can cut it on the table saw for me. I was like, I don't want to go near it. It bites. So, I mean, even then I was still like, I want to do this, but I don't want to do this. Then, yeah. After that, I built a live edge table out of a slab of walnut, and again, very simple. It was a piece that was already cut, and I just essentially put just like wrought iron onto it. And then everything kind of really came in when someone I knew was moving, and they were selling their wood shop, and he said, "Come, like, you always showed interest whenever we talked about it. Come by and take a look." Not thinking I was going to get anything, but he told me he had a lathe. And if you talk to I shouldn't say any woodworker, but a lot of people terrified of lathes. Lathes are dangerous. If long hair, anything hanging, you can get ripped into it. For those who don't know, lathe is essentially a pottery wheel on its side hooked up to a motor that spins unbelievably fast really with a hunk of wood on it. not a.
And what does it do?
So essentially you're carving. So you have different carbide tools, and you put it up to the machine. If you ever seen kind of like metal like machinists, how they make bolts and things like that. Yeah. Think that, but it's manual, so you do it by hand, or you can. There's other equipment you could use where you don't have to use your hands, but most wood turners will use their hands and use a carbide tool or an HSS tool, and they'll use that to carve bowls and pens and all sorts of things like that. So that always intrigued me. And for whatever reason, even though that my dad telling me, he's like, I never touched that growing up. That scares the shit out of me. It was the one thing I was like, yeah, that looks so fun. I want to try that.
Wow.
And this guy had one, and he was selling it for like nothing. And so I was like, well, worst case scenario, I buy this from him. It scares the living daylights out of me, and then I get rid of it. That's it. Like, and I'll make my money back or whatever. Who cares? But I want to try it. Again, back to that, I have to try it. It's something I saw. It's something I'm interested in. I need to try it. And I bought it. And at the time, I was living in a condo over on Yorktown, and I was sitting on the back step, just like on the ground, which is not a position you want to be in when operating a lathe. And I was just, I never used it before, and I was just trying to make a top, and I made this little spinning top, and it spun, and I showed my wife, and she goes, that's incredible. And that was all the fuel I needed to spend thousands of dollars on the rest of my shop, was just some kind of appreciation accolade from my wife. I was like, this is everything. Is this what marriage is like? I love it. So yeah, I dove in deep. Like that was the one thing I really, really dove into was all of the woodworking and creating. And I don't do a ton of big things. I've done like tables and stuff, but they're not my favorite thing to do. I prefer.
What is your favorite?
I like sculptures, like wood sculptures, or I like I'll make pens or bottle stoppers, like kind of typical lathe stuff, bowls and things. I like live edge, but yeah, a lot of what I make is usually I try to. Again, like the nerdum of everything comes in. So
the nostalgia stuff too.
Yeah, so I make a lot of stuff. Like I think I made at one point. I made two things at once. I was kind of going back and forth. It was again a similar project to the tarot card for Don, which was I made the Rush. Is it Moving Pictures? I made that album out of wood, different colored wood, so it actually looked like the album. And I made a vinyl record to slide it in and out just for aesthetics.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and I gave it to my dad. And then while I was doing that, he's like, oh, dude, like we were listening to a lot of Preston and Steve at the time. He still does. I don't wake up that early anymore. I like my sleep. But at the time, we were like, oh, how cool it would be to go on there. So I reached out to them, and we were going on just to sit and watch them. And I ended up, I was like, oh, let me make them something. So I made them a couple things, and they actually like put me on the radio. They're like, you have to talk about this. This is the coolest thing. So, and I wish I had more of like a platform built up at that time, and like a workshop and everything, so I could actually produce these things for people. Sure. So I didn't really plug myself. I was just like, thanks. I did it.
I did the thing.
But it was like that was awesome. And so, yeah, like that, I've always stuck with woodworking. Out of all of the hobbies and different projects and things I bought and crafts,
always going back.
Or find out how to bring it into woodworking. Like I was doing one of the things I got into jewelry making. Like I was just like, I'm going to make jewelry. I don't know why. I made my wife necklaces and different things. I made her a ring box, all these different things.
I see you got the, what are they called, gauge or
whatever? I got the gauges. I made a couple of those out of wood.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
Yes. But I figured out how to, I had this project. I was driving and I pulled over the side of the road because I had this idea for this, I guess like a propagation station sort of. So essentially, it was the vision in my head was, again, back to having that vision, and I have to execute it, was a test tube, and then I had these brass rods that I was using to make some type of jewelry, and I was like, oh, it'd be cool if I could use these brass rods and sort of make almost like a pendulum kind of thing, where depending on where the base of this test tube was, which was surrounded by a piece of wood, so it would kind of hold it and balance it. Think almost like sort of like a gyroscope. So if it was laying flat on the table, it would be upright. But then if you decided to hang it up on the wall,
right,
the test tube would
just
fall.
Hang.
Level. It would be level with gravity, so you could have your thing in there. So it gave you kind of two options to either mount it or to have it on the table. And I think I spent like the next week and a half. Well, the first day was just buying everything Amazon sold, and putting like everything I can into this. I drew it out. I had this idea. I needed to execute it. It had to be done. So trying to figure out how to combine kind of the graphic design, because I was using that to design it, and then jewelry making into the woodworking and all these different things. I ended up with this final project and 100 prototypes, and then another Amazon order because I ran out of breath. They have all my money. But I ended up with this final product that did what, like, it was in my head, and I made it. It came out. It was that was cool. Whoa. The thing itself, I mean, that was nice and all, but having that image of what I wanted to do to come out and be there, it was. I think that's but that's what I would imagine. Again, I'm not an artist. I would imagine.
What does it take to be an artist, Don? If this is an artist,
that's what artists feel. I would imagine,
right, all the time.
You have it right.
Yeah,
you have a vision, and you get it out on paper, or you get it out on a model, or you get it whatever.
Right, but it's God.
Get into it.
Define.
Open up.
Not here. It's not safe. No, it's like I have this conversation with people all the time. I mean, that's why we developed that How to Suck at Art series that we do, is because so many people think that they're not artists or they're not creative or whatever, or they don't like to put that label on it, you know? And it's like, I think all people at some point in their life are artists. I think children are all artists.
Yes.
I think somewhere along the line, life beats the artist out of you unless you can like dodge the punch.
Sure.
But I think everyone should embrace the part of themselves that creates, because the thing that they make, the thing that they, even if it's a doodle in a margin, it's unique to their perspective.
Yeah.
No one can do what you do.
Right.
And I think that's the thing that people like, you know, like, I can never do what Picasso does. Well, not you know, after not having 50 years to learn how to do it. But Picasso can't do what you do either.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Even if he replicates what you do, it ain't going to be the same thing. It doesn't come from the same place.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's a good point. And I'll even say, and maybe I'll say two things. One, I think that maybe, and I'll ask you.
Sure.
As an artist, do you feel like some people, like, I've heard you classify yourself as an artist. So do you feel like some people who feel reticent to do so are coming at it from a point of view where they don't want to come off as either pretentious or cocky or like tooting their own horn? Like, because especially if art is very, it's very critical. People can be very critical of it. It's very opinionated, right?
Yeah.
It's all based on perspectives and mindsets. And so maybe people feel like, well, if I come out and say I'm an artist, right, then people are going to put me on a different pedestal and judge me in a certain way.
Yeah, that's certainly true.
Yeah.
I think that is a lot of where that comes from. I think people are reluctant to call themselves artists sometimes is because they either there's probably two camps. It's the imposter syndrome, like, you know, like, well, I haven't made any real money at this. Do I get the right to call myself an artist? And there's also the ridicule factor. I mean, like, this is like okay. So this is like a personal, my mom's story. So when I was in college, I was going to go to school to be an art teacher. And
you'd make an excellent art teacher.
Oh my gosh,
the best.
Maybe it's the education classes. No bueno.
No bueno.
So like I decided in my junior year of college that I didn't want to do that anymore, and I decided to be a theater major, and that was probably the only time my mom ever said, "I'm disappointed in you.
Oh no, not mad. I'm just.
Yeah, well, it's
Just
like my mom's guilt. She was so good. She was so good at it.
Just wielded it like
she
a
use it all the
weapon.
time. It's just like, that's okay.
Oh boy.
It's like a weaponized guilt. So, but yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, but I knew at the time, like, this wasn't the path for me right now. You know, the theater thing, while I don't know if she ever stopped being disappointed at me zigzagging that way.
Do you want to call her?
I'd love to. Should we?
Oh no! Never mind. Cut it!
Oh, no.
I forgot.
Yeah, that's cool. It's nice that you brought up my dead mom. That's cool, Todd. That's all right. So I didn't think I was going to
we
be
shouldn't
there.
even be laughing.
We shouldn't.
We are bad people.
That's cool.
I'll see myself out. This was fun. Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, let's not have him back.
I'm just really sad right now.
If it makes you feel any better, I won't stop thinking about this for the next 2 to 3 months.
That does make me feel better.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up a lot. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Every meeting.
Me and my therapist will make sure we do that too.
So listeners, my mom's dead.
Oh, did you not know? Rewind it. Ty said it very loud.
That's fine. We can play it back later. No, but it's like, I wonder, even though I've really made most of my life a career in theater, like, fairly okay,
Successfully.
fairly successfully.
I would say so.
You know, like, I don't know if I ever reached the point in her brain where she felt that I was successful. I just don't know. Do you know?
Do you know, or do you imagine, or did she say what that point would have been? What
does success look
right,
like?
No, I think
what's
she
the litmus
just.
test
I think
on that?
she just saw me as a teacher. She always saw me as an art teacher. You know, like I grew up. I was probably on my way to be an illustrator. Went back towards teaching, and then a brief time in communications, but really went into theater like hard. Like, from the moment that I switched my major, like, I did it in high school and whatever, and learned a lot of great stuff there. But from the moment I switched my major, I have not stopped working in theater. Like, I've done at least a show a year. Currently?
Like today? Or
even today.
Wow.
Freelancing, and like it. Like, I don't know what I mean, and this probably got off topic a little bit, but it goes back to that. If you believe in the thing that you're doing creatively, don't step back from it just because you think it will go against somebody else's expectations of what you should be.
Can I go a step further?
No.
That's as far as we're gonna take it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's time, everybody.
We've reached the wall.
Let's break the rule just this once, Don.
All right, Ty, tell us what you're thinking. I was just going to put the mic down.
It's fine. I lost my train of thought. I would say, because I'm going to make this about me. It's what I do.
That's actually what this podcast is about.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
No, that's actually the worst thing I ever heard, is anything being about me. I think also not letting yourself fall into the expectations of what you should do. Sure. Whether that's coming from someone in your family, somebody in your life, somebody not in your life, somebody just on TV or social media, whatever. Yeah. Because I feel like there's so much pressure. I remember hating the fact that I was 18 and being asked by my guidance counselor, what do you want to do the rest of your life? I don't fucking know. Yeah. I have no idea. There's a Taco Bell that just opened up downtown. I'm trying to hit that. Yeah. But aside from that, I mean, limited possibilities. Sure. And I did say limited. It's not a lot out there for me. I struggle with that. And again, I went back to like, well, what do I know? What do I do? Mm-hmm. Oh, I do graphic design. Let me do that. Like that's a thing I know. So I'll go to school for that. Yeah. And again, went back into like the expectations thing. Like, okay, if you want to be smart and successful, you go to a smart and successful school. So like a moron, I put myself in Drexel. I was like, well, I got accepted. They must want me. They wanted my money. A lot of it. And so much of it. And so after a year and a half, I was like, I can't, I'm going to put myself in a mountain's worth of debt, which I have.
Yeah.
But this is the part of the podcast where I'm going to hit my GoFundMe if you don't mind. But I made a decision after Drexel. Was actually right before I left. I was like, I'm going to change my major. I originally went for game art and production, 3D animation, because I was really into it. But again, it was one of those things where I was like, I want to do that, and then I did it. And I was like, okay, I did it. Like, this isn't it for me. I don't know what it is yet, but it's not this. And again, same with graphic design. I was like, well, that'll be the thing. And I ended up going to another college for graphic design, and even then, I was like I know this stuff, but
what, you weren't passionate about it, or what was
I don't know if passion was the right word or lack of it. I think it was just that I felt like I knew all I could know about it. And not that I was like smarter than anybody. I got all the knowledge and I don't need any more. It was just like I've reached my fill of graphic design knowledge. Like, I'll learn anything else I want to learn on my own. I don't need somebody else telling me about it or having to sit through classes or anything like that. So in all truth, I spent a lot of time in and out of college. So I didn't graduate until a year and a half, 2 years ago. With a bachelor's, because I didn't up until this job, Mainstreet, I had no idea what I wanted to do. Truthfully, I had a conversation with my wife about a month and a half before getting the job, exactly that, where I kind of had a moment of okay, I had the job I had previously for 10 years. And that's a long time. Is this something that I want to do forever?
What was it you were doing for 10 years?
So I was working with Sharrett Winery. I was doing sales and marketing, their social media website, some label design. So I was getting to do a lot of different things, which was nice. And I think that's what kept me there so long, was I can kind of mix it up and play with a lot of different mediums, so to say.
Yeah.
I didn't really get too bored, but it wasn't scratching that itch. It just wasn't like fulfilling in any kind of way towards the end. At a point it was, and then it kind of started to fizzle out. And so I remember talking to her. I was like, I don't know what it is. And again, this is not like an attempt at a movie trope or a cliche or anything like that. But I said it to her at one point. I said, the only thing I know for a fact that I want to do is like give back, like do something for people, because part of my job was sales. So I was I've said this to other salespeople, and I don't feel any type of way about it. I will stand true on it. I think sales, you have to have a tendency to be a little bit selfish, right? Because it's commission based. So you need to think, okay, what's best for my pocket? And that was always so hard for me, because I was the worst salesman, because I was so transparent, and I would tell people like, hey, do you need this wine? Oh, you don't need it? Okay, no worries. What are you doing this weekend, man? Or they would ask for something, and I would tell them, well, that's not your, like, I can give you this Merlot, but it's not going to sell on your shelf. It's just going to sit there.
Yeah.
So like I was very, my personality came out more than it needed to. And so I was always trying to, again, do good. Like, I realized that I was like, every time I tried to sell, I was trying to look out for their best interest instead of mine. This isn't right for me. So then I thought, like, what's something I can do that is something I can give to be, like, I can help. Because it's not selfish. It's not dependent on me and my life and what I have going on.
It feels good.
It feels fulfilling. Like, it felt fulfilling. Yeah. That's what I was after.
I relate, dude.
Yeah,
100%.
Sure. And I with this job, I get up excited to go to work. I was just on vacation. I've never had a more stressful vacation in my entire life. Not because of the events that occurred. It was a fantastic time with my wife and her family, but it was just knowing I was away from this job and not in the office, and things were happening without me being there. It just felt it felt out of sorts. Whereas my previous job, being on vacation, I brought my work with me. I was doing like it was a whole different type of stress. So it took me until I was 30 to realize, oh, this is what I want to do. So I always, it bothers me that at such a young age, so many people are told, like, this is the mold you should fit in, right? Or at least, hey, here's 4 molds. Which one do you want to be in? And then, so I think to reel it back into the original point is, I don't think anybody should feel that they're limited by expectations of others or what they feel like they need to do, because I felt for the longest time like to be successful I have to like know what I want to do, and that's not even remotely true. I've talked to people who have no idea what they want to do and make so much more money than me.
Sure.
I mean, which again is not a show of success. It's
no,
but it's something we all think about. So it just
especially when you got kids and
I mean, I have a kid, I have a wife, so I have a house, I have a mortgage, I have all these things. So, and that was definitely a factor with my last job, was like, financially, is this right for us? So I think there was a lot of variables that played in. But
a lot of times those things you try that you're not quote unquote successful. And like, for example, my wrestling, like I wanted to be WrestleMania champion, you know? Did I get there? No. Right. But do I see myself as unsuccessful? Man, I entertained so many people. And not just that, but I've brought what I've learned there into this, into my teaching, into my interactions, into my entertaining. Like, you just take these lessons, even if you don't make it as far as you want, and then bring it with you for the rest of your life. It just becomes a part of who you are. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all.
I feel like I know the answer to this. Are you believers of like the butterfly effect?
Well, yeah, for sure.
Sure.
Okay.
You mean just like something small can happen and make an immense impact?
No, do you believe the movie with Ashton Kutcher was good? That's all I care about. No.
Well.
Different opinions. No,
I
yes.
liked
it.
Because
It was okay.
I'm always fascinated with that. I'm always fascinated with what other people think about that as to whether or not they feel like steps in their life led them to where they are now. Like, if I wouldn't be with my wife today and have my kid if not for so many. Like, I can go as far back as second grade. I mean, I'm not going to spend, it's a whole nother podcast, but I could sit here and go step by step, year by year, and event by event to tell you exactly how all of those things got me to where I am with my wife, where I am with my kid, where I am with my job.
Yeah.
And, okay, you do sound interested. I'm going to go into it. All
Dude.
Right, break out 30 minutes. But I think that's important because it goes back to like what you said, Sam, which was I don't look at anything I've done as unsuccessful. I look at it's all learning experiences. I mean, failures are supposed to be that, right? You have to learn from your mistakes. So, and we've made tons of them. So it's just trying to how can I then empower this and utilize it and use it as a tool in my arsenal to progress further. So that's how I always thought about it.
Do you often trace things back to point A? Like, how did I get here?
Yes. And I think that came from as a way to deal with anxiety. Like I have anxiety disorder. If we haven't touched on it already, I see somebody and I talk about my issues and concerns, and it's just a mental state. It's not like anything's happening in my life. It's just like, hey, this is what's making me feel like I have no control. And I think a lot of it is doing that. Like some of the relief I get is tracing things back. It's like, all right, how do I get here? And again, the imposter syndrome, like you had mentioned, is another thing. It's like I don't deserve this. I shouldn't be in this role. Like this seems so off-putting because it doesn't feel like right. Like I feel like I haven't earned it, if that makes any kind of sense. And I know that's not the case because again, I had to go back. This is a serious conversation I had with myself and with my wife. I told her I was like a month into the job. And I thought everybody's like patting me on the back, and it doesn't feel earned. And she's like, "Well, why don't you think it feels earned?" I said, "Well, this and that, and the third, and blah blah blah." But I started kind of thinking about it and going further into it, and I was like, "Well, you know what? Like, they interviewed me, which means they saw something. Like, they didn't. Like, nobody paid, unless somebody paid them. I would like to thank them, but unless somebody paid them or gave them a reason to interview me, they wouldn't have. And then in that interview, if they didn't talk to whoever they needed to talk to and decide, they wouldn't have called me and offered me the position. So it's like I try to go back and think like, well, let's see what led up to this and figure out like if my feelings are valid or if this is just my brain playing tricks on me. So I use it again. It's learning that could be a tool as opposed to something that's going to be a detriment to me.
So, do you find, is it a lot of pressure, that job?
It is because I put it there. But I think that's necessary for me. I think the job is, like any job, difficult. I'm never going to say that my job's any more difficult than anybody's, and I don't expect anybody to tell me the same because I think everybody, it's again back to perspective. We talked about this. So I put pressure on myself because, again, back to the perfectionist thing. I want to make sure things are right, and I want to make sure that all the success that's happened for the Main Street and Downtown Hammonton program to this point continues and then excels. And especially coming off of the previous executive directors and all of their abilities and what they've done to get so much of what's happened in downtown to be where it's at. I want to make, I can't be worse than them. I have to make sure I'm better than them, or at least as good, but then I also want to make my own mark. So, but I don't look for accolades. I don't look for appreciation. I'm happy to get it. But again, the pressure is just that I want to make sure that I have to do it right. I have to do it correct. I have to do it where I can excel even further. So let me get at least the baseline done, and then I can do a little bit extra. So I will say yes, it's a high pressure job only because I put it there.
Yeah,
but I kind of need.
There's a lot of people with their businesses counting on you, right? I mean, that's their life. Yeah. I mean, I would feel immense. I remember thinking, because I knew Cassie, the former director, right?
Yeah, executive director.
I was just thinking, God, who's gonna take that job? That is so much pressure. Couldn't have gone to a better person, am I right?
Wow, and the check didn't even clear. It's incredible.
I mean, seriously.
Well, thank you. I mean,
100%.
And it means the world, and you're not the first to say it. And
I'm sure.
Yeah, I hope you're not the last. And again, that's not me trying to gas myself up. It's validation that I don't feel like I've gotten in my previous position. So knowing what I'm doing, my validation was for my last job was my paycheck. Sure, if I did well, I got money. I got more money, right? So that if I did not well, then I got less money. Now I don't have that. We're a nonprofit, so you can see what my salary is.
Yeah.
Don't look it up. I don't want people to know. It's put your phone down. But I'm paid to do this as is. And so the only, accolade, validation, appreciation I get is from people, right? From business owners, from stakeholders, from community members and stuff like that. So
I don't know what that job needs, Tom, but I imagine a lot of things came into place with his charisma. He's very passionate about it. He is a perfectionist. He's very personable. I feel like these are the traits someone needs for this kind of position.
Sure, and I don't want to talk about you while you're in the room. But
do it. It's on recording, so I can play it back anytime I want to hear it.
No, I think it's that, but I think it's also because you're very direct with people, and I think I've been close with both of your predecessors, and it's and both were fantastic in their own way, and I
highly agree.
Think some of the stuff that you bring to the position is a change of perspective. And I think it's also that you're being a little bit removed from the original administration of Main Street, that you can come in and go with look at it from the outside and say well, this is, why are we doing it this way? Or why can't we just try this? And I think all change is good, even if it's people are hesitant to accept it. So I think
there's you get comfortable with
the norm. This is the way we've done it.
Yeah, right.
And that's I love this town. Obviously I wouldn't still be here if I didn't. But there is a lot of that vibe around town where it's but we've always done it this way.
Right.
It never worked in the past.
Yeah.
I'm but that was 15 years ago, and everything's real different than it was 15 years ago. So maybe we try it again.
And I think to continue on your point about not going into this almost blind, right?
Sure.
Because I'm very familiar with Hammonton, but I'm not from Hammonton. I worked in Hammonton, worked at school in Hammonton, know a lot of people from Hammonton, but I'm not from here. And I wasn't kind of behind the closed doors and in these conversations and in the discussions about what's happening with Main Street and how this is happening, or some of these different business owners and things along those lines. So I think that helped. But what I tell people all the time, and if you've talked to me once, I've definitely mentioned it before, is I don't have the information until I have the information.
Sure.
So I think a lot of the time, and this is not a Hammonton specific thing, this is just life assumptions. People always make them. And I think a lot of people have assumed that I have the information when I don't, which is actually very beneficial because now I have somebody explaining it to me. And sometimes I don't know if you've ever explained something when somebody doesn't understand it. It's almost like a joke. You explain a bad joke and you're like, you know what? As I'm explaining it, I realize, kind of a bad joke. So I've had people explain to me why we've done something the way we've done it for 15 odd years.
Yeah.
And then I've seen it in their eyes go, oh, you know what? We probably should change it because we've always done it that way and it's never worked. And I like that. I like not knowing. Yeah. I made a resolution years ago I was like, stop trying to pretend you know everything. Like I hated feeling stupid. I didn't want to come off.
You didn't ask questions.
I didn't ask questions. I just like if you mentioned something to me right now that I had no idea or knew nothing about, I would pretend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely for sure. But now I try to ask. Like if you brought something up and I didn't know, what is that? Tell me about it. Because now I'm learning. Now I'm engaging you. Yeah. Now we're developing either a relationship or some kind of connection that maybe we foster later on in life. Like it doesn't. There's so much more opportunity to opening that door than there is to closing it. So
sure.
I try to stick to that. That's every year I make that same resolution. I started this like 6 years ago, I think, and every year I say the same thing.
Did you just come to a realization? Like, gosh,
honestly, I kind of realized I was being an asshole.
Oh,
I felt like I was being a bit of a dick.
It's kind of an ego thing, right?
Yeah,
like I know,
right?
Yeah,
and it was preventing me from actually knowing.
Yeah,
and then it would also make me look like an ass later on in the conversation because then it's like, oh well, Ty knows everything about that. We just got done talking about it. You tell him, and I'm like, I don't know. And so I realized like I have to stop trying to, and again, it's back to that imposter syndrome. I have to stop trying to feel like I have to be whatever the person in front of me is. And
I imagine that must have been a big weight off your shoulders, right? To finally let go of it and just like, you know what? I don't know. Tell me about it. Like it kind of feels good, right? Like
it does. And I think it's also, I've used it as kind of a tactic almost. So again, I was in sales for 10 years. So, even though I tried not to be selfish, there was still always that, there's tactics. I know how to sell. I know how to do things. Like I know how to like have a conversation to get somebody to feel like they need to buy what I'm selling. So I realized I could actually use that as one of my tools now in conversations when I'm talking to people and say to them like, oh, I don't know about that. Tell me about that. And come to find out they don't know that much about that. And so then we're learning together. I go, okay, great. Now we've reached a similar level and we can build together and have a conversation like adults, like humans, like people who are not trying to be better or one up anybody. So I've realized it's helped so much to have better conversations with people and change relationships. And I do it all the time because, and it's not to try again to manipulate anybody or to think I'm smarter than them or any of that. It's just I want to get to a level where we can both feel, like you had said, Sam, relief and take that weight off our shoulders of trying to present as XYZ and just be ourselves. It's hard to do. I still struggle with it, but
do you?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. I find this very interesting because, like, I find that giving a person an opportunity to educate you always makes them feel better, and it really does open up the conversation.
Point. Yeah,
you know, I like before I started working at the bike shop. I didn't know squat about bikes. Like I knew they had pedals and wheels, and I was
blowing my mind.
Sometimes confused by how many wheels. Like I was just having a conversation with a coworker today, about he's like, how do you know so much? I'm like, 3 years of listening and saying the same thing over and over again. I'm like, you're gonna be exactly here, you know, in 3 years. But like give your chip. Oh, I don't really know that. Hey, what's that all about? Like why? Like don't call a lifeline. Hey, I'm not really sure why. Why this fork has a lockout and why not, or why these tires are on this thing. And just by asking those questions, now you're giving somebody a gift to share their knowledge with you, to make them feel like the authority in the room. Everyone likes to feel like the authority. Everyone likes to feel like they're helping.
Well, like they matter.
Yeah.
Right. It's that validation.
Yeah.
Well, I think too. Lost my train of thought. Where is it? It's somewhere. It's around. I gotta find it. Not knowing. When I started my job, my previous job at the winery, I knew nothing about wine. I didn't know how to open a bottle of wine. I had no idea. And actually, my job with wine started a year prior to that at the Eagle Theater because they had a wine lounge. That's how I kind of got my initial feet in the door and all that. And over the years, again, kind of just being open to hearing people, what they have to say and knowledge, and talking to the winemakers and the owners and having these conversations with vineyard people and whoever I could talk to, going to wineries and having conversations, I developed a passion for it. I wouldn't say it's something that I'm like currently passionate about, but definitely during that time, I really felt, I was like, oh, wine is the shit. Like, I love this. This is super cool. My wife and I made our own ciders and stuff like that for like 4 or 5 years. And then we had a kid. That stops everything. And and so I learned so much stuff, and I ended up actually even getting my SOM certification. And so many people were the same thing. Were like, well, how did you learn all this? You met in school, or like, what'd you do? I was like, no, I worked at a winery, and I paid attention. I asked questions, and I like listened and
actually interested.
Yeah, I found interest in it, and I also went and looked for my own information, because again, you reach people who are like me and don't want to feel stupid, so they give you an answer that's not necessarily the answer. So then you just ask around and like find out more. Like, all right, what do you think about this and stuff like that? And just I mean, it just being open to learning is not as easy as it sounds. And I don't say this as somebody who has it all figured out, because I for sure don't. But that is one of the things that I've come to terms with and realized, like, you kind of have to work to learn, if that makes any kind of sense. Sure. Because I could just shut down right now and not pay attention to anything and feel like I got it all figured out.
Yeah.
And that's not helpful.
I mean, some people never figure it out that asking questions is the way to go. Man, I can't believe I told you this interview was going to be easy. How's it 56? Brother, super creative dude. Like, what kind of ways do you get to bring your creativity into your new position at Mainstreet? Do you get to do art, or is it a wholly different thing?
No, I dabble in. I still can do a little bit of graphic design, just because we're a nonprofit, so it's easy for me to whip up a couple designs for some things that we're trying to promote or do really quickly, or for some kind of event that we need a sign or whatever it is for. So I still utilize a lot of people to get some different information from them, and we have talented people who do what I do, sometimes even better. But I still get to dabble and do a little bit of it. But I don't. All my outlet now is just like, I don't know, like you mentioned it before, but like the board games and the video games and like all the Magic the Gathering and stuff. You
go to Cardboard Arena?
I'm familiar with the place.
Oh, Benjamin Ott, shout out.
Yeah. Big fan. Love him. Love his business. Definitely go and patronize the man. But like that's kind of how I get my creativity out now, in a way where I get to kind of fall into the quote unquote worlds that these either board games or video games or anything present to me, because otherwise I don't have as much of that outlet as I used to have. And I have the woodworking and stuff, but that sometimes takes a back burner, and I have some other stuff, but it's so easy to pick up a video game or pick up a board game with somebody and just go right into that and kind of release for a little bit. So that's my hook. Love it.
Yeah. What kind of games we playing nowadays, gentlemen?
I think we were talking about a game that we both enjoyed. I can't remember what it was, though. What were we talking about?
Bro, with my Steam Deck, I'm
Seven
just...
Wonders.
Oh yeah, a little board game, Seven Wonders. Are we talking video games or board games?
I was talking video game. I'm a video game guy.
Can we do both?
Yeah, dude.
All right.
Yeah, I've always wanted to hit up one of those board games.
Do we have another hour?
So complicated.
They can be.
Yeah.
We started in COVID. We found my mom found. I'm going to say how I say it, which is Catan, but I know it's Catan or whatever. I don't know. Let's just play the game.
Yeah.
And
tomato,
potato. And so we played that, and we were like, oh, cool. We've played this now 307 times. What else is there? And we just like slowly started getting more and more, and then everybody else stopped, and I was like, well, I want more. And I went severe. And bought, so I still buy. Like I just had a game coming.
Bro, those things are expensive too.
This isn't a public podcast that my wife could listen to, is it?
Oh no, we could.
So much money spent.
Yeah, we could block her maybe.
Paywall.
Yeah,
I'd probably pay for that too. The crowdfunded, I'm in. But it's yeah, like I love that. And I think it's also coming from the point of view of like sometimes when I want to be creative and I can't, and I've seen people who do what I can't do, I want to support that. Sure. And so I'm like, oh, that's such a cool idea, or I love that art style, or what a cool concept or way to go about doing that. And I get that from video games, I get that from Magic, I get that from the board games. I think I like the board games most only because it's tactile. Like you're in it, you're feeling all the pieces, you're playing the game, you're involved.
You don't have a screen in front of you either. You got people.
You got people, and sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not.
Yeah. You ever use your woodworking? I'm sorry, dude. Your woodworking skills to create your own little board game? You ever think about that?
I think when I first got my laser cutter, I wanted to do Catan. I wanted to like make a wooden version of it, and my first thought when I was going to put it together was, I don't know where I'm going to put this, because my closet is packed to the gills. I have one closet that's overflowing with board games, and then it's now trickled into my personal closet where my clothes are, or where my clothes were. They're now living on the floor.
Wow.
Dude, it's so much.
What a problem to have.
Video games stay on a little flash drive or storage, but the board games take up. And then I'm a sucker for a deluxe version. Get out of here. $40 extra, I'm on board.
Wow.
Yeah, so like I get these big, massive games, and like you said, some of them are complicated. Like I have to sit there and read a manual for like half an hour before I understand how to even start the game.
Yeah.
But then once you're into it,
they scare me, to be honest.
You could do it.
You think so?
They're so fun.
Maybe
you got to find the
one day.
one. There's versions. There's so many different ones out there, and there's like if you like a certain type of style of game, like if you're always into Monopoly,
action, man, action.
Oh yeah, you would be. There's some good ones we can get you into.
All right.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff. There's Dice Thrones. You ever heard of this? This
I've
is
seen
so up your alley.
Dice Thrones.
Holy shit, dude. Yahtzee, familiar.
Yeah.
It's classic.
Yeah,
exactly.
Shake the thing
Love
and go.
the sound effects. Great for podcasts.
Yeah.
It's that. It's Battle Yahtzee. But the people, so they had recently done, this has been out for a while, but they do seasons. Think Super Smash Brothers. So you have all these characters you can choose from. And then for 2022, they did a Marvel version of it. So they released 8 Marvel characters, and then they just recently did an X-Men version.
Oh,
so now you can play with Cyclops and Deadpool, and the whole point is to roll these dice, and depending on what gets rolled is what your ability is, what your attack is, and you fight each other with Yahtzee. You Yahtzee each other.
They got Gambit and Nightcrawler?
I think they have Gambit.
Okay.
Nightcrawler got shafted, man.
Oh, that's a damn shame.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
But it's a blast. Like, it's so fun. Like, those are the type, like, there's, I promise you, if you come over, there's a game for everybody. I just picked up, Battleship Advance Mission came out in 2001. I'm going to nerd out. I was not aware they released a Star Wars version, so I immediately bought it. So I have a battleship. Like we could play. It's infinite possibilities.
What are you doing tonight? Nah,
this podcast, man.
Yeah.
No, let's find a board game night, man.
Yeah, dude.
Got nothing.
So,
love it.
One question. I don't know if it's just for Ty or for both of you. Is there any board game from your youth that you wish you had?
So, I got just one thing to say. Get into Crossfire!
Crossfire!
No, that ended up actually kind of being disappointing in the end, but the commercial had me hooked.
It was Christmas 2022, and my brother and I, my older brother, were like, there's got to be we got to get Crossfire. We've never had it as a kid. We have to get the commercials are the coolest thing that's ever existed.
Yeah.
And saying, we got it in like, I don't know, 5 minutes, and we're like, so this is it?
Yeah.
Not much else to it? All right. But it was like, oh, yeah.
Dude, that commercial. Dude sent that guy into space. And, it was crazy. What about you? I feel like you asked that question because you want to answer
Oh,
yourself.
yeah. Well,
there's one stewing.
Dark Tower.
So, okay. I'm going to blow your mind. They re-released it.
I heard.
Do you have so much money in your pocket right now?
I'm about to.
It is a mortgage payment. No, it's not that expensive, but it is expensive for what it is.
Sure.
Because again, let's boil it down to what it is. It's a board game.
It's a board game with a big piece of plastic in the middle.
Piece of plastic. But for those who don't know, Dark Tower is one of the coolest games because it's a giant map, and in the center is the Dark Tower. And it decides your adventure, essentially, what monsters you fight. And they re-released it a few years ago, and they incorporated some like you can use an iPad to like essentially dungeon master for you, or DM as they would say. And yeah, I it's on my must buy list, but it'll never.
You look it up. Look it up.
$185.
That's a deal. I've seen it $250 easy.
Holy cow! Whoa! Look at that tower. That's cool.
Isn't that sick?
It's cool.
It's so fun.
Wow!
And it's got sound effects and everything. Oh, it's
Is it $185? Cool.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Well,
I mean, if it
what's
helps
the
me,
budget for this podcast?
if it helps me feel young again, I mean,
yeah.
just need to
nostalgia is
reclaim my
expensive.
youth through board games.
Well, Ty, like I was saying before, man, I didn't know who was gonna replace Cassie, and you know what I like this so much too is like Cassie. It's like I look at her and I'm like, that's a real adult. Like she's got all the answers.
And then there's Ty.
And then there's Ty. And I'm like, I can relate to this dude, and he can hold it down in Main Street. That's just friggin' awesome, man.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, it's been a pleasure getting to know you over the last year. It's been really fun to kind of like just bounce ideas off of each other and like find ways to help nudge the arts along in the downtown. Yeah, it's been real cool.
Yeah, no, I think coming into this and I wasn't familiar with the role. I had not been an executive director for a nonprofit before. And realizing how much, first of all, the amount of stakeholders we have and people who volunteer. I'm the only one, aside from a handful of other people, who are getting paid.
Yeah.
Everybody else is volunteering their time to make sure downtown Hammonton is the place to be and where people want to hang out, spend time, grow up, bring their families, move in nearby. Like that's the goal. We want to thrive. And so realizing how many different facets there are to this and the different ways I can be involved or involve other people I love it. I'm so, because again, it goes back to that. There's so many different things I can do and I don't get bored. I can kind of scratch every itch every scratch and kind of, it's the best. And I love being able to kind of create this atmosphere for this community that has given so much to me.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's a great way to close it.
Yeah, we're absolutely thrilled to have you, and so thanks for spending an hour or so with us.
Oh, I would spend many a more.
Yeah, dude. That's awesome. I look forward to gaming and seeing what you do in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Ty.
Thanks for listening to Welcome to the Clubhouse, a production of Art Club Hammonton with your hosts Sam Seitels and Don Swenson.
If you like what you heard, hit that subscribe button, give us 5-star ratings, and share it with a friend who'd love to hear it too. It really helps us grow, and not only that, it makes us feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
So fuzzy. Until next time, keep creating, stay curious, and we'll catch you on the next episode.